Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome back for another Q&A session. So this is finally the Q&A session for December, and surprisingly, I am not late for this festive season of Q&A. Right, so being the last Q&A for December, right, I try my best to, try to go through all the answers, all the questions if possible. I try to answer all the questions, right, and then, so once again, thank you guys for sending in all the questions, right. May we end 2017 with a good Q&A session. Right, let's get started. Okay, so let's take a look at our first question of the day. Right, TOS is getting really ridiculous with the new SM stages, ultimate stages, right, being current season gacha specific. Right, get the current series or the achievement will be hard. I know it's their way of making people reload diamonds to draw, but question, do you think TOS is still fun when stages are so specific like this? Right, so in my opinion, I feel that it is not really the stage that is specific, but more of the achievement that is specific. Right, as you guys may know, right, I'm always the kind of person or player that plays or draws the new series when it's 200% increase. Right, so that's gonna be like 2 weeks into the patch. Right, so I'm gonna miss one ultimate stage or one or two, right? And I have to play with old cards, right? I do not have a single new card, and you can see that I clear it perfectly fine, right? So I always tend to give alternate team setups, right, apart from the new series, because I can understand that there are many players out there who have not drawn or do not have the ability or diamonds to draw, right, this new series, and hence I make very possible teams, right, for players out there that do not have the new series, right. So in a way, it is challenging, right, because it's slightly harder without the new cards, but nonetheless still clearable, right. So I think it is even more fun to clear it without the new series because of the the level of challenge you have, right, because new stages, new cards, right, basically it's gonna breeze through the stage, right. So there's not much stuff that I can talk about, right, in a video. So it's just like, oh, you on this, you activate this, you spin like this, done, and you're clear. Right, so with those alternate team setups is a bit more interesting and challenging for you in terms of clearing the stage as well as doing the achievement. Right, so with this, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so next question, how do you think Madhead is going to save underpowered cards that have been buffed a lot already? Example, Norse, Journey to the West, Carry John Zodiacs, okay, and so on. And why do you think Madhead hasn't buffed Water Sea even though they buffed Maya? Okay, so let's answer this part by part. Okay, so anyway, now you know that Madhead has recently introduced the introduction of Dragonware, right, which is a specific weaponry craft for a specific card. Right, so as of now, we have a patch that is released Dragonware for protagonists as well as the Dragon Spiriters. Right, so 2018 is coming, Chinese New Year is coming. I strongly believe, other than the fact that Tan San Zhang and Iron Fan Princess is coming back, I strongly feel that because Journey to the West have been virtual rebirthed already, so that's like the cap that cards have at this point of time. Like virtual rebirth is the top tier cards, like the furthest they can go for now. Okay, so I believe the next Dragonware Madhead is going to release will be for the Journey to the West cards, right? So I won't be surprised for Chinese New Year you'll be seeing new Dragonware added for Sun Wukong, Daji, Neza, the 5 cards, you get what I mean, right? So one way to save all these underpowered cards is once again Dragonware, right? Amelioration is possible, right? But most cards have amelioration nowadays, so Dragonware is more likely to happen, right? So Madhead, why hasn't Madhead buffed Water Sea? Right, so I think I've mentioned in the previous few Q&A, right, not sure which month was that, but I mentioned Water Sea, right? It's not really a damage dealing card, right? Although it's a black card, right? A lot of people expect black card to be like highly explosive in terms of damage, right? But you can see that not all cards are that way, right? So you can see Water Sea is more of a defensive card, right? With high recovery, you can still recover with water runes when you know use Wenzhong, right, to lock down the hard runes. So I won't be surprised if Madhead introduced amelioration to the Pledge of Flowers series, okay, meaning the Water Yanxi and the Fire Yanxi, right? Not that Fire Yanxi really needed that buff, right, but it's more of Water Yanxi. Maybe giving a more double sword amelioration would be good, right, just to kind of boost up the damage a bit, right? So Fire Yanxi on the other hand have very high, I won't say very high, but relatively high damage dealing leader skill already, right? So if amelioration is given, it's probably one sword, one recovery amelioration, something like that, but that doesn't really make sense still, because her active reduces 50% recovery, right? But we see how it goes, right? So one way, right, definitely is for amelioration, right? Power release is highly unlikely, right? So this is my prediction, right? If it comes true, it comes true, right? I am not responsible for whatever that comes out for these few series. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Okay, a question from Nicholas Chen. Can we have tips and tricks for TOS 2017, especially towards newbies? Alright, so I guess this one I really have to come up with an individual video about it, right? If you want like quality tips and tricks, if you want to call it, right? It's gonna be a video on its own, right? But I'll take note of that, right? Nicholas Chen. Especially towards newbies, tips and tricks isn't really that much of a change compared to the previous video that I've released, right? Everything is pretty much the same, right? Maybe a few additions, right? So maybe I'll create a new individual video for tips and tricks for TOS 2018, right? Stay tuned for that one. Okay, so the next question is going to be a very long question, right? So it's not going to fit on the entire screen, right? So I'm just going to read it out to you guys, right? This is from Kenny Jonathan, asking, I know it has been a while after the TOS Fest Sharing Happiness event, right? Almost all winners from that event is from the Chinese server, even though they announced the event both on Chinese and English TOS Facebook at the same time. I feel that there is some unequal treatment between Chinese players and English players. There is almost no reason to commit on an English TOS Facebook because they will prioritize Chinese players to be the winner. What do you think about this fact? Also, if somehow they make another big event, can they give some equal treatment between Chinese and English players, right? And then the link to the event that he just mentioned, right? Sharing happiness list is on Google. Also, just a small second question. TOS has a Chinese YouTube channel but no English channel, right? Which is true, right? I really want that to happen as well. When they release a new trailer, a new card, example Dalor trailer, Maya trailer, me as an English player can't read Chinese sometimes. Me too, because my Chinese is potato. Where did I? Okay. Me as an English player that can't read Chinese, sometimes confused with the leader skill and active skill. Do you think Madhead should make an English TOS channel, or at least give subtitle to the trailer? Sorry for the long question. Right, so for this player, right, I know your concern. I think that is pretty much everybody's concern on the English server as well. Right, so one possible answer that I can possibly think of, right, is that at Madhead, they know that the player base on Chinese server, right, is really big compared to the English server, right? So to give equal chances for English and Chinese server seems like a biasness, seems more biased towards the Chinese side, right? Of course, it will make us a lot happier because, you know, we have equal treatment. But is it really equal treatment? Right? Because the player base is so big over the other side for Chinese server, right? So it makes sense for them to pick more Chinese server than English, right? Because of the ratio, right? But nonetheless, this is my personal opinion now. the ratio is a bit too skilled down, right? One example I can give is the Terry max skill event, right, in which they choose a few players from the Chinese server, a few players from the English server. Lucky winners get an all max Terry card instead of a level 1 Terry card. So ends up like I think 7 or 8 players from the English server, and you have like a whole list of Chinese players getting the all max Terry, right? So that is obviously unfair treatment, right? Like, although yes, I do agree that you should give out more prizes over at the Chinese side because the player base is big, but the amount that they give at the English side is a little too little, I feel, right? So this is definitely something I can maybe help to discuss with Madhead, right? Hopefully in future events they might roll out something different, right? Maybe in terms of the rules and regulations and stuff like that, right? So in terms of the YouTube channel, right, there is a very good suggestion as well. Maybe I can leave a message to Madhead, right? Maybe it's a bit tough for them to release just a English channel, right? Adding subtitles are more likely, right, that they'll do it in that way, right? Adding subtitles, right? So anyway, thank you for your long question, right? It's a really good question, right? So with that said, let's move on to the next one. Okay, next question comes from Alice, asking any plans of TOS event in Malaysia, Singapore in 2018. Okay, so one thing to note, okay, is like this kind of event planning, right? If you are making non-official TOS events, right, it requires a lot of planning, right? A lot of communication between the host as well as Madhead, right? I believe in Singapore, me and Johnny, right, if you guys remember Johnny Triple V, we plan an event in Singapore, and that takes a lot of time and commitment to actually push out a successful event, right? On the other hand, Malaysia, we have 多管闲事, busybody gang to help organize an event in Malaysia. Right, so yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is a lot of manpower is needed, right? I know it's a lot of people is putting like putting pressure on me. It's like can you host an event? It's not that I do not want to host, it's because I'm currently in university, and then there is a lot of commitment in terms of schoolwork, right? Hence it is a bit difficult for me to get all this event running, right? Because it takes a lot of commitment and communication over a few months, right? It's not something that can be done over a few days, right? Because it involves Madhead, and we have to discuss like the prizes, where the Madhead staff are coming down and stuff like that, right? So if anybody, right, is keen on running an event and stuff like that, of course I won't be a one-man show if I want to host an event, right? So anybody keen on assisting or try to run an event, right, you guys can actually let me know, right? Maybe in the future after I graduate we can do something about it. I'm graduating in 2018 May. Alright, so we have come to the most the common question of every Q&A session. Which series do you personally think should get VR, PR or AR? Okay, so again, this is my opinion, right? Not in relation with Madhead or anything, in case I got this right again. Right, so in my opinion, back then VR was decided between the Greek gods and the Blood Fiends, right? I put my bet on Blood Fiends, in which many people do not believe so, right? It came true. Blood Fiend have their VR. So I guess it's really about time they do something about Greek, right? I think Madhead mentioned something about the new Greek, the new Zeus, right? Not sure whether that's gonna be affiliated with VR or whatever, right? We'll see how they go. Maybe it's Zeus VR, right? Maybe it's not the Greek gods that get VR. Who knows, right? We just have to wait and find out. Right? PR, power release, I believe I really want revolutionary heroes to get power release, right? If you guys do not know, there's Floris, Rococo, Yocto, right? Just to name a few, right? I know a lot of people have concerns like, but they are like this unique series with transformation and stuff like that, but that doesn't restrict them from getting a power release, right, in my opinion, because they can still transform but just have a different skill, that's all, right? So I think that that's gonna be a very interesting way, right, to showcase their transformation after power release, right? I really hope that's gonna happen, right, Mad Head, if you're seeing this, make it happen. Okay, so AR, Awakening Recall. I'm putting my bet on the Traveler Memory series, right? So after Zodiac 1 and 2, part 1 and 2 have their AR, right? I feel the next one is going to be Investiture of Gods, because honestly, the only cards that is being used right now is Wenzhong, right? Dipankara or Randeng, Yang Jian, Jiang Ziya, Sheng Gong Bao. These 4 cards. Have you even seen them in the current meta, or even the past few months, or the past few years? I don't think so, right? Apart from the Yang Jian Randeng, you know, their comeback, right? After that, they're gone again. So AR, that's definitely gonna bring back the series, right? So AR, I feel that is gonna happen only for those series that is relevant, right? That plays a big part in the game, right? In terms of story, like Traveler's Memory, right? They have their own extra stages for a reason, right? They are a big part in TOS. So hopefully they do get a AR soon, right? And then they are once again Chinese characters, right? Chinese New Year is coming soon. Who knows what are they gonna do, right? If they're gonna drop like one big bomb like Dragonware and AR at the same time, whew, we'll have a lot of contents coming up, right? So with this, let's move on to the next question. Hey Aaron, can you help us select which cards are worth to farm every week? For example, these bi-weekly cards, those maidens, are they worth? Or what about the new fins? I think that your opinion about some cards will be really helpful for new players, so we can know what to invest the resources in a better way. Okay, so I think it's relatively easy for me to spot those useful bi-weekly cards, because I can call myself a veteran player. It's almost 5 years of gaming of TOS. Okay, so bi-weekly cards, what should you farm and what should you not farm? Basically, bi-weekly card that actually gives additional multiplier, for example, just maybe human attack times 2.5, beast attack times 2.5, you know, that kind of basic multiplier boosting cards, right? Basically I would just ignore them, because honestly, cards from the Diamond Seal is going to be way better than the active skill of these bi-weekly cards, right? So very good example of bi-weekly cards that I will actually farm is those that really stand out, right? So that's very vague, so let me just explain it in details, right? So for the Maiden series that you have mentioned, right, which is the revolutionary metallic thing, that Maiden that actually converts the 4 corners and hit 20 times, right? So all these are very unique bi-weekly cards that you see normal Diamond Seal cards, they do not possess such active skills, right? So 20 hit, what can 20 hit do? 20 hit can deplete a 20 hit shield, right? It can go through maybe high defense, you know, like those with very low HP with high defense, maybe 15 HP with very high defense. 20 hit is gonna just boom 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 boom, and it's gone, right? So very useful cards. So let's talk about a bit of the new bi-weekly, which is what's that card? Right, Leviathan. Right, so that's a new bi-weekly card. So you can see that they actually gives a damage boost, yes, but they do remove whatever debuff runes on the board, right? So I find that is a very situational, a useful situational card, right, in which I will consider to farm, right? It's not really a very big game-changing card like the 20 hit active skill, but it's nonetheless a very good card to farm, right? And it might come in handy for certain stages in the future, right? So Leviathan, that one I'm farming, right? Basically the whole series of that one, right? So in conclusion, it's just basically a skill that you cannot find in the pool of diamond seals. Alright, so I gave a few examples, so hopefully that makes things clear for you guys. Right, so just damage boost and stuff like that, skip it. Right, the rest is pretty much encouraged to farm. Right, so next question asking, what do you think will be the next boss to get power release or virtual rebirth? I doubt virtual rebirth, right? But power release is definitely hands down Yog-Sothoth, because Prologue of the Universe, the seal that you currently have now, is pretty much linked to Yog-Sothoth, and also the 10th seal is linked to, you know, this series, I guess. So next, moving on. Also, so far PR has only happened to series that are in the regular diamond seals, 10 ancient coins. Okay, do you think that special seal, which is, you know, like the Guan Yu seal, the Sengoku seal, Knight of Round Table seal, will get power release in the future? My answer is pretty much possibly, right? The reason why they are in a special seal is because there's so many cards in the diamond seal that if you put it in, it's gonna, the draw rate is gonna be terrible, right? So which is why they give them a special seal. But they are original cards that are gonna be in the diamond seal forever, right? Other than, you know, like Pili Puppet, Crash Fever, those are collaborations that are gonna be gone, right? So for these unique seals, right, made by Mad Head, that is exclusive in the game, right, they are gonna be in the seal forever. You know, you join the diamond seal every now and then, right? They maybe in a few years time, who knows, right, when they get a lot weaker, they might get a power release, right? We'll just wait for that to happen. Let's move on to the next one. Right, next question. Sean Yap asks, is Hell worth the beat in the Age of Heroic Spirits, even if one doesn't have Loki? Right, so basically Hell only works at its maximum potential if you have Loki, best, maybe 2 Lokis in the team. Right, so if you do not have Loki, basically what it does is converting God runes, which is pretty much not ideal, right? It takes up 1 slot in the team, so you're good to not farm Hell for now, right? Once you get Loki, maybe you can consider farming Hell. So for now, you can save your diamonds. Overall, the SM and Nightmare stage, which do you think is the most scariest and hardest of all, and the card drop of the SM and Nightmare aren't even worth using diamond to clear? This. Okay, so next question. Felix asking, not sure whether this is asked before, but I seriously think the individual seal system is making the game unhealthy and slowly dying. Right, Mad Head should add in new contents at the same time, not abandoning old cards. What do you think? Right, so first and foremost, they are not abandoning old cards, right? And then secondly, making an individual seal is way better than adding the new series into the diamond pool, because of the amount of cards that are currently in the diamond pool, right? It's literally impossible, and the draw rate is going to get more and more crap as more series get added on. So technically a 200% increase or a rate up will not be a rate up if it's in the you know, the individuals, not individual, the whole diamond seal pool, right? So it is really for our own good as, you know, players, old players, to have an individual seal system, right? Because number one, we are just gonna draw within the series, right? So we know that we are not gonna get like, can you imagine like at this point of time if they do not introduce an individual seal system, right? Like let's say Prologue of the Universe, you have skill up, rate up, right? We draw, okay, we have like the new few Prologue of the Universe card, cool. Okay, we are missing Azathoth. Okay, we draw, we get Wine Valkyrie, we draw, we get Druid, we draw, we get Norse, we get Greek, Primal Greek. That's gonna make us pull our hair out, right? It's such a big pool, and an increased rate doesn't even matter anymore because of, you know, we have coming close to don't know how many thousand cards in the pool already, right? So making an individual seal system is definitely the way to go for this new series, right? And I find that there is nothing wrong with it, right? So hopefully maybe you guys will think this through once we'll look at the next question. So Alex D here asks, okay, this is actually something that I did not know, right? So Do you think that the new Apple Store policy about making the card draw rate public is going to affect the players and the company in any way? If yes, how? Right, so this is pretty much linked to what I'm trying to say back then, right, about the whole new series being added into the entire Diamond Pool seal. Right, so that's going to be very, very difficult, and if Mad Head is going to reveal the draw rate publicly, right, so you'll see that it's actually not a very big chance to draw the card. Alright, so in a way, it's gonna affect both the players and the company, definitely. Right, so company, they're gonna have to release the draw rates. Right, so for example, maybe we're just talking about the prologue of the universe seal itself, right, seal of engraving. Right, how many % chance you get an Azathoth? How many % chance you get a Groth? How many % chance you get a Dowloth? Right, probably close to, you know, maybe 5% chance or something, maybe even lesser, right? So this is my kind of you know, estimation, right? So players, in a way, once they see the draw rate, they'll be kind of scared, right? Because we have been drawing blindly for the past 4 years, right? We have no idea what's the draw rate. Even if they say 200% increase, even if they say increase rate, how much of an increase is it, right? We do not know. So we are just pretty much still praying and drawing at the same time. So if players really know the draw rate, it might scare them a bit, right? Like maybe it's just 2%, right? Players will think twice before drawing. Like 2% out, what, 2% out of 100? 2 out of 100, what's the rate? It's very, very low, right? So in a way, the company is going to lose a bit of revenue if players is going to think that way, right? And then, of course, for us players, we draw to showcase new cards for you, so that's not going to affect us, right? So many players, maybe free-to-play players, is going to be, oh, maybe I'll not draw because the rates are so shit, you know. So it affects the company and the players both ways, right? So we'll see how this goes. I don't think this policy is being implemented yet, right? But when it's out, we'll see how it goes, right? Let's move on to our last and final question of 2017. Alright, so last question asks, which TOS BGM is your favorite over the course of the whole game, even the ones that are no longer used? Definitely this one. So yes, we are pretty much done with the whole years of Q&A session, right? So hopefully you guys are satisfied, right, with the amount of this long and fruitful Q&A session, right? There is tons and tons of, you know, really good questions. I really enjoy answering to them, right? Hopefully you guys enjoy this entire Q&A session as well, right? So 2017 is pretty much officially ending in a few hours time, right? So this is gonna be the last video of 2017. Right, so with this being said, thank you guys for sending in the question, and also, right, have a really good new year. Right, happy new year to you guys. Have a pleasant 2018. Right, may Skyjob always be in your favor. That's most important, right? Or the diamond seals always be in your favor. Right, so with that being said, I'm gonna end this video here. Right, leave a like for this last and final video of 2017. I'll see you guys next year. Bye bye.